Hello and welcome to Cappin at the Spa, the Breeders' Cup edition. We're recording live here from Toms River, New Jersey, and we're excited about today and tomorrow in the fabulous Breeders' Cup. Remember the format of the show. Well, first of all, let's introduce Daily Double Dan here, my partner. Hello Dan, how are you today?
Doing well, and yourself?
I am excellent, ready to go. All right, remember the format for the show. Horses 8-1 or better we feel have a good chance to run well at high odds, and especially in the Breeders' Cup. You can hook up with other horses that you like, even logical horses at 2 and 3-1, and get tremendous exactas, trifectas, daily doubles, and so forth. So don't be afraid to hook up your horse with other long shots also, because it is common in the Breeders' Cup to have $300 and $400 exactas, maybe 3, 4, 5 times over the course of the 2 days. So without any further ado, we're going to have 3 picks each for Daily Double Dan and myself, and we're also going to have some picks coming in from our other guests. Exacta Box Bobby, Superfecta Deegan, and the Rainbow Man have also given us their best bets of the day, which we will relay to you folks. So, we ready to go?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to start off with Friday. Dan and I each have one play on Friday, and then we'll get into Saturday. My first pick is in the 6th race, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf, and my horse is Ultimate D, the 5 horse, at 12-1. In this race, I think Happily, the 2 horse, and 11 Rushing Fall are the 2 morning line favorites. They're both very, very tough horses. It's a mile on the grass. Happy's coming from Europe. Looks very, very good for Aidan O'Brien. And you got Chad Brown, so you probably have the 2 top trainers, Chad Brown with Rushing Fall. They're both going to be tough to beat, and I think you have to use them. But Ultimate D with Wesley Ward is coming off of a juvenile filly race at Kentucky Downs where he wired the field and beat Best Performance. Best Performance came back and ran second in a graded stakes at Belmont. So I think that race comes up well, and the more I look at this race, there's only 2 speed horses. You got Ultimate D, and you have the 12 horse, Dixie Moon. And I've been watching the races from Del Mar the last couple days. It's a mile, it's a pretty short run to that first turn, and I think Ultimate D is going to get that lead, and in a big field, there could be a lot of traffic behind him. I think Wesley Ward's horse has a chance to run real well here, and he's going to be in the lead turning for home, and I'm going to hope for the best. Dan, it's up to you. How's your first horse looking?
All right, so for today, I'm talking about the 8th race, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, going a mile on the turf. So number 4, Catholic Boy at 12-1. I had him last time out in the With Anticipation. I certainly think he's live today, but I'm going to be talking about another horse. My pick is the 9, Encumbered. So there's plenty of things that I like about this horse here. One thing I look at is I see his 2 races on the turf. He has improving buyers. He went from 70 to a 79. Won both races on the turf, so I'm just throwing out the 2 races on the dirt. He's clearly a turf horse here. He's 2 for 2 at Del Mar, which is another thing I like. And taking a look at the buyer par of 90, the top buyer in the race from an American horse is an 80. And Encumbered is 1 point below there at a 79. So he's at 15-1. Both times on the turf, he beat my boy Jack, whose morning line is half his at 8-1. So if I could get Encumbered anywhere near 15-1, I think that's great value. Looking at pace, I mean, he's a mid-pack closer from the 4th, 5th position. I don't see too much speed in this race. A couple of these European horses look like they might get out there, but due to the fact that he's a mid-pack closer rather than the back of the pack, I don't think that should affect him too much. So I like number 9, Encumbered at 15-1.
All right, excellent. Remember what we said, when you're picking 15-1 shots in each race, or 6, 7, 8 races, you really only need to hit 1. You 1 horse run well, and you can really make a nice score. So let's move to Saturday, the big day. I'm going to take a look at the 4th race, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and I'm going to take a look at number 8, Piatti Bianchi at 15-1. In this race, very interesting race, 13 horses. I'm taking him because he's run a couple times at Del Mar. He's run very well. At 5-1, he wins his maiden. He runs in a grade 1 at 18-1 and only gets beat a half length by Moonshine Memories, who's probably going to be the favorite in this race. Then he comes back at Santa Anita in a mile and 16th in another grade 1 and runs a very good third, 4-5 wide at the 7th, 8th, and runs third beating 3 lengths, again to Moonshine Memories. Alluring Star, the 9 horse, is the big speed in the race, who ran second in that same race. So I'm going to really use this Chandelier as a key race. And if you're telling me horses ran 1, 2, and 3 within 3 lengths of each other, one of them 7-2, the other 6-1 in the morning, and my horse is 15-1, I'm going to take that 15-1 because there's a lot more speed in the race, and there's a lot of horses here with 13. So I'm going to take Piatti Bianchi, 15-1 with Doug O'Neill, and we're going to hope that he mows him down in the stretch. Let's move on to Danny. And Danny's going to talk about Exacta Box Bobby's best bet of the day, which is in the 6th race.
All right, so this is a note from Exacta Box Bobby. He says, my best bet of the Breeders' Cup is in the Filly and Mare Sprint, the 6th race, number 8, Constellation, 15-1 morning line. He says this race is wide open. Almost every horse is pretty consistently sitting in the mid-high 90 buyer range. When horses are this bunched up, I want to look for a price. Unique Bella will take a ton of money despite facing by far her toughest field and not being any faster than anyone else, leading to good value elsewhere. Constellation is going first time for Bob Baffert and is 3 times the price of Sky Diamond, who she has lost narrowly to the last 2 times out. She has plenty of speed to get position, but has proven she can rate a bit. I think she sits just behind the cheap speed of the 6 and the 13, while they go out with the 9 and can sit 1 to 2 lengths off in 4th. I see her having first jump on everyone else, taking the lead in mid-stretch, and just holding off the closers.
All right, interesting selection for Bobby. And interestingly enough, Superfecta Deegan also has a horse in that same race. So sometimes when you find long shots in one race, you may find more than one. And in this race, Superfecta Deegan likes Finest City. He likes the fact that the horse is 2 for 3 at Del Mar with a second. So 3 starts at Del Mar, all in the month in 1st or 2nd. Also, this horse won the race last year. So when you're talking about a horse who's trying to win back-to-back Breeders' Cups, a lot of times once they win the first one, they're really sort of setting up the next year in order to take one more run at it. Last year's winning buyer was a 94. So clearly the horse is still within range, coming off of a couple of Grade 1 races where he ran 3rd. So not necessarily in as good a form as last year, but that might give you a chance for a horse to win back-to-back Breeders' Cups and actually win the second one at double digits, which Finest City may be. So that's Superfecta Deegan's pick, and he is picking 4, 11, 12, 2 is the Superfecta of the day for Deegan. So those of you who trust in the man, take a shot. Let's move on to the 7th race, where Danny and I are going to go head-to-head.
All right, so the 7th race, the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. Buyer par 104. I'm going with the number 4 is Zapessa, 20-1 with Jersey Joe Bravo on him. So one thing I look at here is 6 straight races now he has improving buyers. So he's coming in great form. Last time out, won a Grade 1 mile on the turf at 17-1. He's won before at Del Mar too, which I like to look for. And as far as pace goes, you know, he's coming out of the 4 spot. He likes to be out on the lead. There doesn't seem to be too much early front speed here, and with him getting a pretty good draw on the inside, I think he should have no trouble getting to 1st, 2nd, or 3rd and being out there on the lead. And another thing I see is Grand Jeet, the 2nd choice in this race. You know, he's run good with him the last 2 times out. He lost by 2, going a mile and a 16th where he led the whole way. And then the last time it was a mile and 3/16, probably a little too far than he liked. You know, he was in first the whole way on a tough pace and ended up falling back and losing to Grand Jeet by about 4 lengths. But still, at 20-1, I think we're getting great value here and coming in improving buyers. I think he's a very live horse in this race.
All right, excellent. And I'm going to go right with him in this race with another 20-1 shot, the 5, Wahida from Great Britain. This horse is running the Prix d'Opera, which is the premier race, Grade 1 for Filly and Mares up there. Lost by a half length in a 14-horse field. The race before in a 10-horse Grade 1 ran 4th again, but also only beaten by a length, and both times was 12-1. So this horse runs in big fields, gets very close at double-digit odds. There's no world beaters in this race, in my opinion. I think that the horse has a little bit. If you look at his comments, it says close up, chased 4th, alternated on the lead, tracked the leaders. I think this horse is going to be just off the pace. And in a big field, at the tight turns of Del Mar turf, you want to be close and you want to be somewhere inside and then take your shot in the stretch. So interestingly enough, if that Exacta can come in, we'll be, there'll be a lot of smiling. So let's go to Danny for the 9th race.
All right, looking at the Breeders' Cup Mile, Grade 1, I think this race is wide open. So first of all, I see the 1 and the 2 big-time front runners right here. Both got good positions. I think they're going to be battling out on the front and really setting up a tough pace. So when I see that, along with Mr. Rory, the 3 is also likes to be on the lead as well as a couple other horses. So I'm really looking for some closers to come in this race. So first horse I'm looking at, World Approval, the 5. You know, his 3 of his last 4 wins, he sat in 2nd, 2nd, and 3rd. He likes to sit right off the pace and then get the first jump. So I think he sits right off of them, and I think he's going to be a tough beat here. So he's one horse looking at, but, my pick is actually the 7, at Del Mar, run 6 times, all 6 times in the money at Del Mar. He clearly likes to run here. His last 7 races, all 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. So, he's always competes here. His buyers in the, 105, 106 range. He is very live in this race with those buyers at 20 to 1. He ran in a Breeders' Cup race last year, lost second by a nose. I think he's just as good as these other horses. So getting him at 20 to 1, closing from somewhere in the mid-pack, I think will be right there. And the last horse I'm going to mention is the 11, Valley Rocks, who also I think will be closing from the back of the pack. But my pick for this day is number 7 up.
All right, excellent. Love these 20 to 1 shots. All right, quick note on the Rainbow Man's pick, which is in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, the 10th race. U.S. Navy Flag, the 1 horse, 8 to 1 on the morning line. Again, Aidan O'Brien horse. This horse has shown huge improvement in the last 3 races. Grade 3, Grade 1, 8, 12, and 9 horse fields, and he wins them all. He wins the second one at 10 to 1, and the most recent race at 6 to 1. So the horse is running in good fields, is really improving, and has a lot of speed on the turf. So the key to this race is he's got the rail, he's got speed, and can he run on the dirt? That's the key. I think you're still going to get 8 to 10 to 1 because nobody knows for sure. But if that horse bolts to the front and looks good, Rainbow Man might have a horse. Now, to wrap things up, let's just take a quick 20 seconds each on the Classic. What do you think, Dan?
All right, taking a look at the Classic. Arrogate, Gun Runner, Collected. It's going to be a tough race, but my horse I'm going to take a shot with is Collected. Just going to get the best price on him compared to those other couple horses. He's got 5 straight races, big time improving buyers, beat Arrogate out last time, so just think you're going to get the best value with him, so I'm going with Collected.
All right, just a couple quick. First of all, great race. Up in Saratoga this year. Last year we got to see Arrogate run. This year we got to see Gun Runner run a couple times and win. So it's really a fun race. I think Gun Runner's a little suspect at the distance. 0 for 3. The horse is 10 for 14 on the dirt, but is 0 for 3 at a mile and a quarter. So I don't know how you can play this horse to win at a mile and a quarter when it's the only races he can't seem to win. Arrogate, listen, Baffert's going to just take this horse to the front, in my opinion. It's the last race of his career. He wants to show Arrogate's the top horse in the world, and he's just going to go to the front and see if he can just destroy everybody. The horse I'm going to take a shot with is the 6, Mutaj. Again, another Baffert horse, a closer. And I'm just thinking that if Arrogate gets out there and starts to stick it to everybody on the front end, I'm going to take a shot with the closer, another Baffert horse, and we're going to play a little win bet on him. We're going to definitely play him with Arrogate, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So, best of luck to everybody. It's going to be a great couple days of racing, and here is hoping today is your day.